The Xylosian Concord had a long memory. They remembered the rock. They remembered the ice haulers. They remembered the human fleet that had appeared from nowhere, built from salvage rights and mining permits and loopholes the size of planets. But they did not respect it. On the Xylosian homeworld, in the Great Hall of Military Records, Admiral Quietwave stood before a screen. The screen showed human warships, or what humans called warships. The first image was a cargo hauler with guns bolted to its sides. The welds were crooked. The armor plates did not match. Some were gray. Some were blue. One was pink. The second image was an ice hauler with missile tubes welded to its belly. The tubes were different sizes. One was clearly a drainage pipe. It still worked. The third image was a passenger ship converted into a carrier. The landing bay was too small. The control tower was off-center. The paint was peeling. Admiral Quietwave turned to his fellow officers. They were all Xylosians. Tall, pale, perfectly dressed. Their faces were stiff with disgust. "These are the ships that defeated the Creel," Quietwave said. "These are the ships that made us sign a one-page treaty. These are the ships that the humans call a fleet." A young officer named Still River laughed. It was a cold laugh. "They look like garbage. A child could build something prettier." "Then why did they win?" asked an older officer. "Silence." Quietwave waved his hand. A new image appeared. A Veth scientist named Scientist Vel. She was old and thin and respected by everyone. "The humans have a saying," Scientist Vel said in the recording. "If it looks stupid but it works, it is not stupid. Their ships are ugly because they are built from whatever is available. They do not have our resources. They do not have our factories. They have creativity and desperation. That is enough." The recording ended. Quietwave turned back to his officers. "The Veth admire human creativity. I do not. I think we can do better. We will build a human-style warship. But we will build it correctly. With perfect materials. With elegant design. With Xylosian precision." The officers nodded. They liked this idea. Build a human ship. Improve it. Show the humans how real engineers work. The project was named Operation Perfect Copy. It took 2 years. The Xylosian engineers worked day and night. They studied every human ship design. They took the best parts and made them better. Stronger metal. Smoother curves. Engines that burned cleaner and hotter. Weapons that aimed faster and hit harder. They did not use salvage. They used new materials. They did not use loopholes. They used proper permits. They did not use desperation. They used confidence. The ship was named the Pride of Perfection Star. It was beautiful. Sleek and silver. Its hull was smooth as glass. Its weapons were hidden behind elegant panels. Its engines hummed a perfect note. The Xylosian Council came to see the launch. So did the Veth. So did reporters from 17 species. Admiral Quietwave stood at the podium. He was proud. His chest was puffed. His voice was loud. "Today," he said, "we prove that human methods are crude and unnecessary. Today, we show the galaxy what a real warship looks like. Today, we launch the Pride of Perfection Star." The crowd cheered. Cameras flashed. The ship sat on its launch pad, beautiful and shiny. Quietwave pressed the button. The engines fired. For 3 seconds, the Pride of Perfection rose into the air. It was graceful. It was perfect. It was everything the Xylosians had dreamed. Then the engines exploded. Not a small explosion. A big one. Fire ripped through the ship's belly. The sleek silver hull cracked into 3 pieces. The elegant panels flew in every direction. The perfect engines became shrapnel. The Pride of Perfection fell back to the ground. It hit the launch pad with a terrible crash. Metal screamed. Fire roared. Smoke rose in a black cloud. The crowd did not cheer. They screamed. They ran. The cameras kept recording. Admiral Quietwave stood frozen at the podium. His perfect uniform was covered in dust. His perfect face was covered in shock. The Veth reporters turned to their human colleagues. The human reporters were not surprised. They were not scared. They were smiling. Small smiles. Quiet smiles. One human reporter, an old woman named Tessa Cole, leaned into her microphone. "And that," she said, "is why we build ugly." The video went viral. 17 species watched the Pride of Perfection explode. 17 species watched the human reporter smile. The Xylosian Council demanded answers. They called an emergency meeting. They invited the humans to explain. Admiral Quietwave sat at the back of the hall. His head was down. His hands were shaking. He had been so sure. So proud. So wrong. The human engineer arrived the next day. Her name was Myra Vance. She was old now. Her hair was gray. Her metal arm shone in the light. She had built the ice haulers. She had cracked the Creel flagship. She knew ugly ships better than anyone. She stood before the council and waited for them to stop arguing. Then she spoke. "You built a beautiful ship," she said. "That was your mistake." The council went silent. "Human ships are ugly," Myra continued. "We do not hide our wires. We leave them exposed so we can fix them fast. We do not match our armor plates. We replace them after every battle. We do not smooth our curves. We add more corners because corners are strong." She pulled up an image of a human warship. It was hideous. Welds everywhere. Mismatched colors. A patch over a patch over a patch. "This ship has been hit 4 to 7 times, Myra said. "It is still flying. It is still fighting. It is still ugly. Your ship was hit once. It died." The council had no answer. Myra turned to leave. At the door, she stopped. "You asked what went wrong," she said. "Nothing went wrong. You built a perfect ship. Perfect things break all at once. Ugly things break one piece at a time. And they keep going." She walked out. The council sat in silence. Admiral Quietwave put his head in his hands. He had wanted to prove human ships were garbage. Instead, he had proven they were genius. Just ugly genius. The shipyard orbited a dead moon. It was the finest shipyard in Xylosian space. Everything was clean. Everything was white. Everything was perfectly organized. For 2 years, a team of Xylosian and Veth engineers had worked here. They had one goal. Build a human-style warship. But better. The lead engineer was a Xylosian named Still River. He was young. He was confident. He had never lost a battle because he had never fought one. He knew theory. He knew numbers. He did not know humans. "The humans use low-grade metal," Still River said to his team. "We will use Xylosian battle alloy. 3 times stronger." The team nodded. "The humans use crooked welds," Still River said. "We will use seamless molecular bonding. No weak points." The team nodded again. "The humans have exposed wires everywhere," Still River said. "We will hide every wire behind smooth panels. Elegant. Beautiful." A Veth engineer raised her hand. Her name was Scientist Lin. She was old and careful. "Still River," she said. "The humans leave their wires exposed for a reason. So they can fix them fast. If we hide the wires, how will we fix them?" Still River waved his hand. "We will not need to fix them. Our ship will not break." Scientist Lin said nothing. But she wrote something in her notebook. She was worried. 2 years passed. The ship grew. Piece by piece. Panel by panel. It was beautiful. Sleek and silver. Its hull was smooth as a mirror. Its curves were soft as water. Its engines were hidden inside perfect casings. Its weapons folded away when not in use. They named it the *Pride of Perfection Star. Admiral Quietwave came to inspect it. He walked around the ship 3 times. He touched the smooth hull. He ran his fingers over the hidden seams. "It is beautiful," he said. "The humans will weep when they see it." Still River smiled. "They will learn from us," he said. "We have improved their crude design." The launch day arrived. The shipyard was full. Xylosian officials in white robes. Veth scientists in gray. Reporters from 17 species. And 3 human observers. The human observers were not officials. They were not scientists. They were engineers. Old ones. The ones who had built the ice haulers and the cargo ships and the ugly fleet that had won the Creel War. Their names were Tessa Cole, Leo Kim, and Rosa Mendez. They were all veterans. They had scars and gray hair and metal parts. They stood together in the back of the viewing area. They did not talk. They just watched. Admiral Quietwave stepped to the podium. He was wearing his best uniform. His voice was loud and clear. "Today," he said, "we prove that human methods are not special. They are not genius. They are simply crude. We have taken their design and improved it. Better metal. Smoother curves. More efficient engines. Watch. And learn." He pressed the button. The *Pride of Perfection* rose from its launch pad. It was graceful. Silent. Beautiful. The crowd held its breath. Then the engines made a sound. Not a hum. A whine. A high, thin whine like an animal in pain. Still River frowned. "That is not right," he whispered. The whine became a scream. The smooth hull began to vibrate. The hidden wires inside, the ones no one could see, began to melt. The perfect engines, designed for maximum efficiency, had no room for error. And there was an error. A small one. A tiny crack in a fuel line. On a human ship, that crack would have been visible. A crew member would have seen it. Fixed it. The ship would have kept flying. On the Pride of Perfection asterisk, the crack was hidden behind a smooth panel. No one saw it. No one could see it. Fuel leaked into the engine housing. The housing got hot. The fuel ignited. The explosion was beautiful too. In a terrible way. The ship tore apart from the inside. The sleek silver hull cracked into a dozen pieces. The smooth curves became jagged edges. The perfect engines became fireballs. The hidden weapons flew in every direction. The Pride of Perfection asterisk did not crash. It did not fall. It simply ceased to exist. Pieces of it rained down on the dead moon below. Metal and fire and smoke. The crowd screamed. Reporters ducked. Officials ran. Admiral Quietwave stood frozen at the podium. His mouth was open. His eyes were wide. Still River fell to his knees. "No," he whispered. "No, no, no." The three human observers did not move. They did not scream. They did not run. Tessa Cole looked at Leo Kim. Leo Kim looked at Rosa Mendez. Rosa Mendez looked at Tessa Cole. They smiled. Small smiles. Quiet smiles. The kind of smiles that said we knew. A young Veth reporter ran up to them. Her camera was still recording. Her voice was shaking. "You are not surprised," she said. "Why are you not surprised?" Tessa Cole turned to the camera. Her metal arm gleamed in the firelight. "We are not surprised," she said, "because that ship was perfect. Perfect things break all at once. Our ships are ugly. They break one piece at a time. And they keep fighting." She pointed at the burning wreckage. "That ship was hit once. It died. Our ships have been hit 40 times. They are still flying." The reporter opened her mouth. Closed it. She had no words. Tessa Cole put her metal hand on the reporter's shoulder. "Tell your people," she said. "Stop trying to build beautiful ships. Start building ugly ones. Ugly ships live longer." She walked away. Leo Kim and Rosa Mendez followed. They did not look back. Behind them, the Pride of Perfection asterisk burned. 2 years of work. The best materials. The best engineers. The best intentions. All destroyed by a tiny crack that no one could see. Admiral Quietwave finally moved. He walked slowly to the edge of the viewing platform. He looked down at the burning wreckage. His perfect uniform was covered in ash. "We tried to copy them," he whispered. "We failed." Behind him, a young Xylosian officer picked up a piece of twisted metal. It had been part of a smooth panel. Now it was just garbage. "What do we do now?" the officer asked. Quietwave did not answer. He was watching the three human engineers walk toward their ugly ship. It was parked at the far end of the shipyard. It was blocky and mismatched and covered in welds. Wires hung from its sides. Armor plates of different colors covered its hull. It was the ugliest ship in the shipyard. And it was the only one still flying. The Xylosian Council had not been this quiet since the day they signed the one-page treaty. 12 counselors sat in their great white hall. Their hands were folded. Their faces were stiff. Their eyes were fixed on the old human woman standing before them. Myra Vance was 80 years old. Her hair was white. Her face was lined. Her left arm was metal, a replacement from a long-ago war. She walked with a cane. But her eyes were sharp. Her voice was strong. She had built the ice haulers that cracked the Creel flagship. She had watched her daughter marry a Veth. She had seen everything. And now she was here to explain why the Pride of Perfection asterisk had exploded. Counselor Deep Thought, the oldest and wisest of the Xylosians, spoke first. "Engineer Vance," he said, "we have watched the recordings. We have studied the wreckage. We have interviewed our engineers. We still do not understand. We used better metal, smoother curves, more efficient engines. We improved every part of your design. And yet your ships work and ours failed. Why?" Myra leaned on her cane. She looked at each counselor one by one. Then she smiled. It was not a mean smile. It was a tired smile. The smile of someone who had explained something 100 times and would have to explain it 100 more. "You built a beautiful ship," she said. "That was your mistake." Counselor Quickthought frowned. "Beauty is not a mistake. Beauty is efficiency. Beauty is perfection." "No," Myra said. "Beauty is hiding your mistakes. Humans do not hide our mistakes. We leave them where everyone can see them. Because mistakes are not shameful. Mistakes are information. She pulled a small device from her pocket. It was a human engineering tool. It was old. It was scratched. It had tape holding one side together. This tool has been with me for 40 years, Myra said. It has been dropped. It has been wet. It has been stepped on. It still works. Do you know why? The counselors said nothing. Because every time it broke, I fixed it. And every time I fixed it, I left the scar. The tape. The scratch. The mismatched screw. Those scars tell me what went wrong. They remind me how to fix it faster next time. She put the tool back in her pocket. Your ship had no scars. No tape. No mismatched screws. It was perfect. Perfect things have no history. No lessons. No backups. When a perfect thing breaks, it breaks everywhere at once. Because there was never a small break before. Nothing to warn you. Counselor Deep Thought leaned forward. Explain more. Myra nodded. She had expected this. Human ships are ugly on purpose, she said. Every wire is exposed. Why? Because exposed wires can be fixed in 30 seconds. Hidden wires take 30 minutes to find. In a battle, 30 seconds is forever. She held up her metal arm. Every armor plate is mismatched. Why? Because we replace plates after every battle. We do not polish them. We do not paint them. We bolt on new ones. Sometimes they are different colors, different shapes, different sizes. We do not care. They stop bullets. She pointed at the counselors. Every system has 3 backups. The main system, a secondary system, and a tertiary system. The main system is ugly. The secondary system is uglier. The tertiary system is made of spare parts and hope. But it works. It always works. Counselor Stillwater, who had once tried to stop a wedding, raised his hand. But why not just build a system that does not break at all? He asked. That is what we tried to do. Myra looked at him. Her eyes were kind, almost pitying. Because everything breaks, she said. Everything. The best metal cracks. The best engines fail. The best crews make mistakes. You cannot stop things from breaking. You can only decide how they break. She walked to the center of the hall. Her cane tapped on the white floor. Your ship was designed to be perfect. So it had no weak points. That sounds good. But a ship with no weak points has no strong points either. It is the same everywhere. When it broke everywhere. All at once. No warning. No chance to fix it. She stopped walking. A human ship has weak points on purpose. We put them where we can see them. Where we can fix them. Where they will break one at a time. First a wire. Then a plate. Then a gun. Each break is small. Each break can be fixed. The ship gets uglier, but it keeps fighting. The hall was silent. The counselors looked at each other. They had tried to copy the shape of human ships. They had not understood the soul. Counselor Deep Thought spoke slowly. You are saying that ugliness is not a flaw, he said. It is a feature. Myra smiled. Now you are learning. Then why did you not tell us this before? Asked Counselor Quick Thought. Why let us waste 2 years and a beautiful ship? Myra's smile faded. Because you would not have listened, she said. You had to learn for yourselves. You had to see your perfect ship explode. You had to feel the shame. Now you will remember. Now you will understand. She turned to leave. Then she stopped. One more thing, she said. Your engineers asked why our wires are exposed. They thought we were lazy. They thought we were crude. They were wrong. We leave wires exposed because we trust our crews. We trust them to see problems. To fix problems. To keep fighting. She looked back at the counselors. You hid your wires because you do not trust your crews. You thought perfect machines were better than imperfect people. You were wrong. Machines break. People adapt. That is the human secret. She walked out of the hall. Her cane tapped on the white floor. Tap, tap, tap. The counselors sat in silence for a long time. Finally, Counselor Deep Thought spoke. She is right, he said. We tried to copy their shape. We should have copied their philosophy. Counselor Stillwater nodded slowly. We need to change how we build. Not just our ships. Everything. Counselor Quick Thought looked down at her hands. It will be hard. Ugly is not our way. Deep Thought stood up. Ugly is the human way. And the humans keep winning. Perhaps it is time we learn to be ugly too. No one laughed. No one smiled. But somewhere in the hall, a young Xylosian assistant wrote down Myra's words. He would study them. He would remember them. He would teach them to others. The humans had shared their secret. Now it was up to the aliens to learn. The Xylosian Council had heard Myra Vance's words. But hearing was not believing. They needed to see. So Myra took them to a human shipyard. Not a famous one. Not a military one. Just a small repair station orbiting a moon called Rust. The station was old. The lights flickered. The floors had holes patched with metal sheets. The Xylosian councilors walked carefully, as if the station might collapse under their feet. "This is where you build warships?" asked Counselor Deep Thought. His voice was doubtful. "This is where we build everything," Myra said. "Follow me." She led them into a large bay. In the center of the bay was a ship. It was not finished. But it was clearly a warship. And it was ugly. The welds on its hull were rough and bumpy. Some were thick. Some were thin. None were smooth. The armor plates did not match. Gray next to blue next to green. One plate was pink. The wires hung loose from the walls, bundled with tape and string. The control panels had buttons of different shapes and sizes. Some were new. Some were old. One was clearly a kitchen button from a food dispenser. The Xylosian counselors stared. Their faces showed horror. "This is a warship," whispered Counselor Quick Thought. "This is the Last Chance *, Myra said. "She has been in 12 battles. She has been hit 31 times. She has lost her main engine twice. Her crew loves her." "She is hideous," said Counselor Stillwater. Myra smiled. "She is alive. That is better than beautiful." She turned to a human worker nearby. "Start the demonstration." The worker nodded. He pressed a button. Alarms began to blare. Red lights flashed. "What is happening?" asked Deep Thought. "We are simulating an attack," Myra said. "Watch." A small missile launcher rose from the floor. It fired a test missile at the Last Chance star. The missile was not powerful enough to destroy the ship. Just enough to hurt it. The missile hit the ship's side. A panel exploded. Smoke poured out. Sparks flew. The ship's lights went out. The engines died. The alarms changed pitch. A higher, more desperate sound. "The ship has lost main power," Myra said. "In a human ship, that is not the end. It is just the beginning." She pointed at the hull. A crew member was already climbing out of a hatch. He carried a tool bag. He ran to the damaged panel. He pulled off the broken cover. Inside, wires hung everywhere. Some were black. Some were smoking. The crew member grabbed 2 wires and twisted them together. Sparks flew. He did not stop. He wrapped tape around the twist. Then he pressed a button on the wall. A light came on. A small one. But it was light. "Main power is still down," Myra said. "But emergency power is on." That took 4 to 5 seconds. The crew member ran to another panel. This one was on the other side of the ship. He opened it. Inside was a hand crank. He grabbed it and turned. The crank was hard to move. He used both hands. His muscles strained. Slowly, something on the ship began to move. A turret. A small one. It rotated on the ship's belly. It was ugly. Its barrel was bent. Its casing was cracked. But it turned. It aimed. It was ready. "That turret has no computer," Myra said. "No electronics. Just gears and muscle. It will not win a beauty contest. But it will fire. And it will keep firing as long as someone turns the crank." The counselors said nothing. They just watched. Another crew member appeared. She carried a metal plate. The plate was the wrong shape. It was too big. It had holes in it. She climbed up the side of the ship and placed the plate over the hole from the missile. It did not fit. She did not care. She hammered it into place. Bang! 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 The plate bent and twisted. It covered the hole. It was ugly. It was mismatched. It worked. "New armor," Myra said. "Took 2 minutes. Not pretty. But the next missile will hit that plate, not the crew inside." She turned to the counselors. Their faces had changed. Horror was gone. Now they looked confused. And impressed. "The ship still has no main power," Myra said. "But it has emergency lights. It has a working turret. It has a patch over the hole. It is still ugly. It is still broken. But it is not dead." She walked to the ship and put her metal hand on its rough hull. "That," she said, "is the human secret. We do not build ships that cannot break. That is impossible. Everything breaks. We build ships that refuse to stop. They break one piece at a time. They get uglier and uglier. But they keep fighting. They keep flying. They keep coming home. Counselor Deep Thought stepped forward. He touched the mismatched armor plate. His pale fingers traced the hammer marks. How do you teach this? He asked. How do you build a ship that refuses to stop? Myra looked at him. You do not build it. You raise it. Like a child. You give it scars. You let it fail. You fix it. You let it fail again. You fix it again. Every scar is a lesson. Every patch is a memory. The ship learns. The crew learns. Together, they become something that cannot be killed. She stepped back. Your pride of perfection had no scars. No lessons. No memories. It was a baby that had never fallen. The first time it fell, it broke everywhere. Our ships have fallen 100 times. They know how to get up. Counselor Quickthought raised her hand. How long does it take to build a ship like this? Myra laughed. This ship has been in service for 40 years. It has been rebuilt a dozen times. There is almost nothing left of the original. But the soul is the same. The soul refuses to stop. She looked at her watch. The demonstration is over. You have seen the secret. Now you must decide. Do you want beautiful ships that die once? Or ugly ships that refuse to die? The counselors did not answer. They did not need to. They already knew. As they walked back to their shuttle, Counselor Stillwater stopped. He looked back at the last chance star. The crew was still working on it. Hammering. Welding. Taping. The ship was ugly. It was broken. It was beautiful. In a way he had never understood before. 3 years had passed since the pride of perfection exploded into 1,000 pieces. 3 years of learning. 3 years of failing. 3 years of getting uglier. The Xylosian and Veth engineers had given up trying to copy human ships. They had asked humans to teach them instead. Human engineers opened their shipyards to anyone who wanted to learn. Veth came. Xylosian came. Even a few brave Creel came. They all wanted to understand the human secret. The first alien-built ugly ship was built in a human shipyard on Rust Station. The same station where Myra Vance had shown the counselors the last chance. The same bay. The same tools. The same teachers. The ship took 3 years to build. It was not fast. It was not pretty. It was hideous. The welds were crooked and bumpy. Some were too thick. Some were too thin. None were smooth. The armor plates did not match. Gray next to brown next to yellow. One plate was bright orange. The wires hung everywhere, bundled with tape and string in once, a shoelace. The control panel had buttons from 6 different species. A Xylosian button next to a Veth button next to a human button that had come from an old coffee machine. The alien crew was embarrassed. They were Xylosian and Veth, trained in perfection and elegance. Their ship looked like garbage. They wanted to hide it. It is ugly, said the Xylosian captain, a young officer named Still River. He had designed the pride of perfection 3 years ago. He had watched it explode. He had learned. Yes, said the Veth first officer, Scientist Lin. It is ugly. But watch. They took the ship to a small border conflict. Pirate forces had been attacking trade routes. Nothing serious. A good test for a new ship. The pirates laughed when they saw the alien ship. It was so ugly they almost felt sorry for it. Then the shooting started. The ugly ship took 7 direct hits. The first hit destroyed the main gun. The second hit took out the main engine. The third hit fried the main computer. The pirates cheered. Then the ugly ship kept fighting. A backup gun unfolded from the belly. It was smaller. It was older. It worked. A backup engine kicked in. It was slower. It was louder. It worked. A backup computer booted up. It was dumber. It was slower. It worked. The ugly ship fired. It hit the lead pirate ship. The pirate ship exploded. The other pirates ran. The battle lasted 12 minutes. The ugly ship was damaged. It was smoking. It was ugly. It was alive. The alien crew emerged from the airlock. They were covered in grease and smoke. Their uniforms were torn. Their faces were dirty. They were crying. Not from sadness. From joy. They walked to the ship. They touched its crooked welds. They patted its mismatched plates. They hugged its ugly hull. Still River pressed his forehead against the ship's side. You did it, he whispered. You kept fighting. You did not stop. Scientist Lin stood next to him. Her large dark eyes were wet. It is the ugliest ship in the galaxy, she said. And it is the best ship I have ever served on. 3 weeks later, Admiral Quietwave stood before the Xylosian Council. His uniform was old now. His face was tired. But his eyes were bright. In his hands, he held a piece of metal. It was an armor plate. It was mismatched. It was crooked. It had a dent from a pirate missile. "This came from our first ugly ship," Quiet Wave said. "The ship that defeated the pirates. The ship that should have died 7 times. The ship that refused to stop." He held the plate up so all could see. "We tried to make a beautiful ship. We failed. It exploded. Now we make ugly ships. And we have never been safer." The counselors were silent. Then Counselor Deep Thought spoke. "What are you asking, Admiral?" Quiet Wave lowered the plate. "I am asking to rename our fleet. No more pride of perfection. No more glory of the stars. No more beautiful names for beautiful ships that die the first time they are hit." He looked around the hall. "I want to name our ships after what they are. The last chance. The barely holding. The still going. Ugly names for ugly ships. Names that tell the truth." Counselor Quick Thought raised her hand. "The other species will laugh at us." Quiet Wave smiled. It was not a bitter smile. It was a proud smile. "Let them laugh. The Veth will understand. The Creel will respect us. And the humans will welcome us. Because now we speak their language. Not the language of perfection. The language of survival." The council voted. The motion passed. Not unanimously. Some counselors still loved beauty more than life. But most understood. The galaxy had changed. The old ways were dead. Ugly was the new beautiful. That night, the Xylosian fleet was renamed. Ships that had once been called Eternal Light became Scrap and Hope. Ships called Perfect Dawn became Patch Job. Ships called Starlight Majesty became Good Enough. The humans sent a message. It was short. It said, "Welcome to the club. Your ships are ugly. We love them." On Rust Station, Myra Vance watched the news. She was very old now. Almost 90. She sat in a chair by the window. Her metal arm rested on her lap. Her eyes were tired but happy. Her daughter Ilara sat next to her. Ilara was old too now. Her hair was grey. Her Veth husband Thren sat on her other side. Their daughter Senna, now a young woman, was studying engineering at the station. "Mama," Ilara said. "The Xylosians renamed their fleet. They are building ugly ships now." Myra smiled. Her smile was missing a few teeth. It was crooked. It was not beautiful. It was perfect. "I know," Myra said. "I taught them myself." She looked out the window. In the shipyard below, a new ship was being built. It was ugly. Crooked welds. Mismatched plates. Hanging wires. Xylosian and Veth and human engineers worked side by side. They hammered and welded and taped. They argued and laughed and learned. The ship had no name yet. But it would have a good one. Something honest. Something ugly. Something that would refuse to stop. Myra closed her eyes. She thought about the ice haulers. The rock that cracked a flagship. The one-page treaty. The wedding. The rainbow creature. The ugly fleet. She had lived a good life. And somewhere in the darkness between stars, the last chance was still flying. Still ugly. Still fighting. Still refusing to stop. That was the human secret. And now it belonged to everyone.